Hello, people, and welcome to this segment of the Energy Talk called My Energy Story. I am Jennifer, and I'll be hosting this segment. And with me, I have Chibunna. Before I go right into that, this segment is going to be a little bit different from the regular one that we know, because this will take a deeper dive into the lives of players in the energy industry and how they've been able to get to where they are today. So you'd expect some smiles, you'd expect something to inspire you to continue doing that beautiful thing that still feels difficult, but you know that you want to do. So on that note, I say, welcome to the Energy Talk, and I have with me Chibunna. And might I say, before we got on this, I was telling him that his bio is quite impressive. So I'm just going to read that out. Before I even go right into that, let me even toot his horn a little bit. He's still in school. He's in his final year in the university, and he's been able to accumulate this much. So just note that first. So Chibunna is a renewable energy and sustainable development professional, and he's the founder of RenewCycle, spelled as renewed and the CYKLE. And he was the first international renewable energy agency youth forum. He was amongst the first. He represented Nigeria at the first renewable energy agency youth forum in Abu Dhabi as IRENA, and pretty much also a volunteer at the student energy chapter as the regional youth coordinator for sub-Saharan Africa. So, I mean, that's a whole lot to do with schoolwork and still being, where he is today. And also, before I let him have the floor to himself, he is also a chemical engineering student of the Federal University of Technology, Owerri. So, I mean, with that, I'll just let you have the floor to introduce yourself. Aside from everything I've said so far, so what is something nobody really knows about you? Let's just start from first.
Hi everyone, my name is Chibunna Ogbonna. I'm very pleased to be here. So something about me that all need to know is I can't wait to leave school in order to go ahead to implement the projects that are in my mind, that fire my soul. I'm 23 years old, and I love to hang out with friends. I also love to read books. I love to travel, and I love to do projects, especially projects that are pertain to development.
Wow. I mean, with having a chemical engineering degree, did you see yourself in the renewable energy sphere? Let me use that word. Or to backtrack a little bit, what do you think you were going to be like? What was your plan? Like, did you think, back in the day, would always say, oh, I want to be this when I grow up. What was your own version of the story?
Okay, first of all, when I was growing up, my parents, I was actually very good in sciences, so everybody thought I was going to become a medical doctor. And so I felt that, okay, maybe becoming a medical doctor would be nice, but as I continued to explore my interests, I discovered that I didn't actually have any interest in the line of medicine. So in my final days in high school, so I decided that, okay, I need to do something different, and I started looking at global issues and thinking of problems that I could solve, because I didn't just want to be a normal student or a normal university student. So I was at computer practicals. I was at the computer practicals in school, and my computer teacher allowed us to use the computers to browse after the end of each practicals. His name is Mr. Ogbonna. I always mention him anytime I'm asked this question. So that particular day, he allowed us to use the platform, and I was able to stumble upon an article on climate change, and it really inspired me. It also taught me that humans were responsible for so many issues happening, especially in terms of pollution, environmental degradation, and climate change. So I was inspired to take action to, you stop it. I didn't actually know how I was going to do that, but then when I went back to my school, I started looking at courses in the university that when I studied them, it would help me in that direction. So I now discovered chemical engineering, and I chose chemical engineering. So after I wrote my JAM, I qualified, I wrote my work, and then I went straight to university. I found myself in the Department of Chemical Engineering at Federal University of Technology, Owerri. So, and I started studying chemical engineering. But then, studying chemical engineering, it was not just about chemistry and climate change and all that. It was more of mathematics and other applied and abstract science. But I still loved, I still loved the climate change issues. I still loved anything that had to do with the environment. So I started looking out for opportunities where I could teach myself. So what did I do? I started attending conferences. I attended conferences in University of Nigerian, Suka. I attended conferences at Gregory University, Uturu, on renewable energy. I attended conferences at Federal University of Technology, Akure in Ondo State. So on all these trips, I traveled on my own. I used my pocket money to travel in order to just get the knowledge. And I also traveled to Lagos many times, while school was on, in order to meet new people, to learn about renewable energy, to learn about climate change and sustainability. So that's how I stumbled upon, that's how I just knew that I was supposed to be in this direction of renewable energy.
That is very impressive. And for our audience that might not know what JAMB is, JAMB is the international version of GREs and LSATs and the rest. So before you move into the universities, which I think is a college in most developed countries, you have to take some entrance examinations. So in Nigeria, it's called JAM, but I'm very sure that in most developed countries, it's either called, I think, GREs and the other ones I get to take. So that was what he took. But, something that struck my attention that piqued my interest was the fact that you said you literally had to start attending conferences here and there, because, I was looking at the courses between chemical engineering and when it comes to RE, they're totally different. Yeah, and in understanding, I kind of feel I would want to believe that there's a lot of deviation from the engineering. Okay, well, the engineering aspect that moves then into REs and sustainability. So going forth from that, my question would be, how has your understanding or how has your knowledge or your degree or you're currently studying in chemical engineering to you to form decisions around renewable energy and then sustainability development?
Okay, yeah, so some of the courses in chemical engineering, especially those in the final year, that's the 5th year, actually has renewable energy as a curriculum, as one of the courses. So when I got admission, so I checked the brochure of courses what we'll be studying from year 1 to final year, and I discovered that wow, that there was a space for renewable energy efficiency, and oil and gas and all that. So I said, okay, fine. I think since it already has renewable energy as a curriculum, I think I'll pursue this degree. So the engineering degree, mathematics, policy, because we also have engineering management, also economics, engineering economics. All those things help to form or help the engineer to understand what to do. So as a chemical engineer, it's all about, it's also known as cost engineering. Okay, so it helped me to decipher how to understand the cost of renewable energy, how to understand the cost of the electricity that we are providing through renewables, and the different types of technologies that are involved, and also the cost implications of each technology, the advantages and disadvantages. So all these things are considered before you make a major decision or a major engineering decision, and then that's how you take it from there.
Yeah, that's correct. So if you ask me, I feel like you pretty much already have it. But I don't want to use the word figured out already, but it kind of feels like there's a balance to it. There's a balance to it, to be very fair, because from my perspective, I studied economics in undergrad, and then I pretty much was asking myself, what could I do with an economics degree? And I had my interest in energy, so which was where I got to know about, I was pretty much research and I got to know about energy economics, where you figure out what balances between the consumers and the producers and the rest of that. So, you can never ever you just can never ever do without having to do your research and asking questions and the rest of that. And then going forward from that, were there anyone literally in the field that you could look up to at that point in time to ask questions? Because I'm not saying it's really, really easy. I'm not saying, I mean, it's good. I don't know how easy it is or how difficult it is to navigate through the system when there's really nobody for you to look up to. Because at that time, I don't know how long you've had yours going on now, but at the time when I started, I don't think there were really that many in the industry, and having to sift through the right people to and all of that. So what was, I don't want to use the word mentoring per se, but it's still the same thing. So what was that phase for you? Did you really find anybody that you could talk to? And if you did, what were the things that you necessarily have to do? Because you always have to play your own part.
Okay, yeah. So when I was starting out, okay, first of all, let me just share. So I'm getting admission to Federal University of Technology, Owerri, in 2014 and 15. So I didn't actually have a mentor. I didn't even know what having a mentor was, but I just knew that I knew what I wanted, so I was just pursuing my dreams and pursuing my interests, trying to explore my interests. But on getting to those conferences, I discovered people that I could look up to, people that I could talk to. So I started talking with so many professors, so many entrepreneurs in the renewable energy space. So, and later on, as I started my own firm in 2018, I started attending industry-related conferences and events. Then I started finding people that I could look up to. So one of such persons is Mr. Ifeanyi Orechata of Green Village Electricity Projects. He's also an alumnus of my school. So yeah, he has done so well. He also started his own company while as an undergraduate in the university. So over 10 years now, they are doing so well in Nigeria and in West Africa, deploying mini grids all over West Africa. So whenever I look at myself in the next 10 years, I see myself in that light or better or more than him, in that light. So because it's not easy for someone to actually start a company while in school and still carries on till, becomes very successful. So it has not been easy, but with just tenacity and with commitment, because I just feel that if young people can have an industry where they can contribute, it's not just about what you gain, it's much of how much you can contribute to an industry. And the renewable energy space has a lot of platforms for people to contribute, irrespective of what you studied in the university. You studied economics, you studied political science, you studied investments, financing, whatever you studied, it can be related to renewable energy, even entertainment. So because we need more ways to spread the news about renewable energy and all that. So through attending conferences and meeting industry experts, that was how I was able to continue firing down, continue pursuing the goals related to renewable energy. Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and then diving off of what you said in terms of starting RenewCycle, like how was that for you? What was the eureka moment that told you, okay, I think I have to do this at this particular point in time? Mind you, you are still in school. And how old is RenewCycle now?
Okay, so RenewCycle, that's the name, it came from two inspirations, okay? First of all, I saw a movie about the life of Bill Gates, how he started his company, Microsoft, at the age of 19 years. And then in 2017, I was 19. Okay, so I was so inspired. I was like, wow, after attending all these conferences and all this, what have I been able to achieve with it? How have I been able to implement the knowledge I've gotten from all these conferences, and what actions have I taken with the knowledge I already have? So I said it would be nice to maybe start an initiative. I didn't know it was going to become a company, but then as I continued to build the company, as I continued to build the initiative, I now discovered opportunities to make it a social enterprise. And in 2018, we officially launched, but then we had not incorporated the company. But we just started with recycling, taking plastic waste out of the school environment and all that. It was just a big idea. It was not very defined, okay? But as I continued to delve into the industry, I discovered that the recycling space was much crowded by major players in the industry, and there was so much barrier to entry. So it was very difficult to actually say, okay, and there was no differentiation. There was nothing different that I could say I was doing. So the only way to pivot was to go into renewable energy directly. So in 2019, when I was in with my partners. And my partners are also my colleagues in engineering, Ben and Bess. So we cooperated the company, and then we decided to go full into renewable energy. Yeah, so we left the recycling space, and then we focused on renewable energy, and that's awesome. So for now, RenewCycle is currently at the Clean Technology Hub incubation. We started with Clean Technology Hub in May, and we are still under the incubation hubs now, but we're ending very soon. And after that, we'll be going for the demonstration and pitch day. After that, we will now start building our products. But so far, we've been able to develop innovative, minimum viable products that help students, young professionals, um, families, and micro enterprises to access clean and affordable electricity. So our major aim is to beat down the cost of conventional inverters in the market, and to see how we can, democratize this, democratize the inverter so that it could be so cheap and so affordable for the average Nigerian or the average person to afford. Because the major issue about renewable energy, it's not just that it's wonderful and it's very efficient, but then the initial cost of investment is so high, and that discourages people, as compared to the long-term benefits. But then other types of energy alternatives, their initial costs are very low, and then their advantages are quite minimal, and then disadvantages in the long term are much. But because of that initial cost factor, people just tend to go for, the other types of energy sources as opposed to going for renewable energy technologies. So we are trying to see how we can create a balance by coming into that, filling that gap of affordability, and also effectiveness and efficiency of the product. Yes.
Wow, that is a pretty, your goal, your mission are all laid out. I think, like, if you ask me, well, let's just leave it at that because this is a lot. No, it's a lot because if you, the thing is, youth of today, I mean, I still got a question on LinkedIn. Wasn't it? Yeah, this week, and someone was asking me that I think it's civil engineering, or so I can't remember his name. And he's asking that he wants to go into the renewable energy space. And the thing is, for me, it's why. There always has to be a why before you take the leap. So why are you doing this? And your plans to do that going forward. And the thing is, most of the time we think without having to also put into consideration sustainability. Like, for example, if you just go in there for the sake of just installing, what if the next 2 or 3 years from now, there's a technology that just makes it play? You don't have to install. It means that if you came into the industry with the mindset of being an installer, you've been kicked out by technology, you get. But just listening to you talk, you've pretty much already laid down your plans, and everything you said so far so good. There's just little that makes you indispensable. Yeah, there's a lot rather, like in the sense that you just have to be there. Like come back in the next 4 years, your intellectual property is still nailed to the ground because you have you're not letting technology or whatever it is weigh you down. And from there, I would say that then kicking off from there and then you finding yourself at IRENA, how did that happen? Because I was like, okay, it was even my crew that reached out to me, like the energy of my team was like, Jennifer, have you seen this person? I'm like, who is that? And they're like, and I was like, no, I have to find out first. So it's like, no, we need to get the tea on how that happened because they're going to have my head if I don't have this information. So I mean, because the thing is, we need to know informations like this because let's lay it out for every other person to know and to hear about it because it's one thing for you to be in there, it's another thing for you to spread your tentacles so wide so that you can have availability of attending these conferences, representing your country, and having the opportunity to actually learn a bit more from people that you guys are in this. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm so glad to share that. Okay, it was a very wonderful opportunity that I got to attend the International Renewable Energy Youth Forum in Abu Dhabi this year. But it didn't just come, I didn't expect it actually. How it happened was I've been applying for so many opportunities, and getting so many rejection mails, but then I didn't give up. So when during my internship, my 4th-year internship, before I even got the 4th-year internship, it was very tough. Went to so many companies, Lombige, many oil companies for the internship. I wrote a lot of internship exams. And though I did well in those exams, still they would do the internal selection and choose those they wanted. So it was very disappointing, and I was just not okay with it. But I just stayed at home for a while, and then an opportunity came to go to Lagos Business School for a short course. So I was like, okay, fine, this might be a great opportunity. And then it was a paid course. But then I've always been praying for paid courses because I've been attending a lot of free conferences, and I was like, no, I'm not growing. If I start attending conferences or events or courses where I pay for them, where I pay for the value, I think I'm starting to grow or elevate my status. So I found an opportunity at the conference as well. And then Lagos Business School colleague just walked up to me and said, wow, I like you. I would like you to attend this course. And the guy gave me the flyer for it. When I got home, I applied, and then they sent me the whole brochure and all that. So after paying for the course, during the course in Lagos, after 1 month, so at the last week, I got a link. A friend of mine sent me a link. Said, Chibunna, please apply for this. It's ending in 3 hours. I was like, okay, I'll apply. But then I didn't want to apply because I've been applying for all this stuff for a long time and nothing happened. So, but I just said, nothing happened to me if I apply, right? I said, okay, fine, just apply. So I just applied casually, nothing serious. I just shared what I was doing, my company, what we were doing, and all that. So I got a follow-up mail the next day asking me to send more information, which I did. Then all of a sudden in October rather, I got a mail asking for an interview. That was when I knew that this was getting serious. And then I attended the interview. So the interview was like recording videos and saying, you just ask you a question in 3 minutes, you say what you are going to say, and then the video will shut out. So at the end of the day, I submitted the interview, and we were just praying and expecting the good news. And then on 5th December 2019, the mail came in, and wow, it was one of the best days of my life. I was just in the house alone, and I was shouting on the top of my voice. I was so happy. I was shouting on the top of my voice, to be the first time I'm traveling out of the country, and not just traveling out of the country, but traveling out for a renewable energy related event. When I was starting out, one of my friends called me a dreamer, and he said that you're just a dreamer. So then it was as if I didn't know what I was doing. It was as if I was just wasting my time. But after that day, I knew that truly I was not wasting my time. And on getting to Abu Dhabi, I tried my best to represent the country well. I tried my best to learn so much and network and collaborate with a lot of young people that I met there. And from there, it has been awesome. After that opportunity, many other opportunities have been coming. So, and also crystallized my commitment and also solidified my passion in this renewable energy space, telling me that yes, I'm on the right path. Okay, so my advice to young people out there is it must not really be renewable energy. Maybe it can be something else, maybe fashion or music or whatever it is. But when you start having the signs, when you start seeing those signs, maybe it's calling you to stay on your path. Most times it might not really be easy, and sometimes the success might not come speedily or when you want it to come. But if you can just be committed on that path. Okay. So, and this year I made a commitment that even if renewable energy will not pay me big sums of money at the moment, I find fulfillment, I find happiness, I find joy doing this. So I'm just going to stay on this path, whether it's paying me or not. And I think that's the best thing. When you can find a position or an industry where you can contribute, where you can give your time, your resources, and your efforts, to advance that industry, I think you have found your path. So that's my advice to everyone out there. Just, try your best to find an industry where you can contribute. Yeah.
Yeah, like that is, come on, that is amazing because you just reiterated what we always say, and which is, sometimes you get so many rejections that it just details you. My rejection mantra now is I get a rejection, I shut down my laptop, I eat, I sleep, tomorrow I continue. Like that's the the thing, because what do you want to do about it? He's not going to stop you from doing what you want, because at the end of the day, it's like, how many people has it stopped? Because you hear people's success stories, it's like they also have to go through so many fails to get to where. And we're not denying the fact that we go through this many fails. The question is just a matter of what do you do in those moments when you fail or when you get those rejections. I have learned to accept. I take pride in it. When it comes, I'm like, oh my God, I failed at this. But what I always do now is I make an effort to send back email for feedback. What did I do wrong? If they reply me, that's good. If they send me feedback, that's good, because it just shows that, yeah.
That's something I've learned now, because I'll start doing that, because normally when I get a rejection mail, I just close it and I don't attend to it again. I think I'll start doing that.
Because it's like there might have been something that they had seen that was a red flag for them that you don't know. You get asking, okay, thank you for giving me the opportunity to apply. Sadly, I didn't get through to this round. May I know what I can do better going forward, or what must have caused me not to continue on this path? Something along those lines. I mean, I have to learn this myself. I'm just talking to people that are way older than me and I know better than I do. Asking for feedback. Okay, what did I do wrong here? I mean, if they're depending, some will come back to you, some might not. You get, but it's just part of the whole thing. It's part of the pressures that we also have to go through. I also said that I want to shed a bit more light on that. Sometimes our friends and even our family, let me use it in the slang, they don't rate us, sort of. Like they still see you as that very small person that you're still growing up with them. Sometimes they might not even buy into the dreams that you have, but when you start getting recognition for the things that you do, that is when they start recognizing that, oh, this person has actually done a lot more for himself. And I've come to understand that it's actually not their fault. It's just because they get to see you every day, they are interacting with you on a very good level. So as much as we put the pressure on ourselves, I've come to learn that we should also let it flow. So last, before I let you go, my question is, what do you do before you let the pressure off of yourself? What are the challenges that you face, that you've gone through, and how can you see the whole thing through?
Like the challenges, you mean in terms of how I've been able to go through the challenges of starting the company at this stage, or just any challenge that
it would be fun. This is the energy talk, my energy talk. So your challenges and RenewCycle challenges. That is.
Okay, I'll just start with the first one. First of all, before I even started RenewCycle, something happened in my second year while in university. My mom was diagnosed with cancer, and it was very devastating to my family. And then in school, things were getting tough, and my siblings were also in university as well, and finances were not very much coming. My parents are civil servants, and then now my mom had was diagnosed with cancer, so it was very terrible for us. So, okay. So I decided to leave school. I decided to leave school in 2016, and I applied for Nigerian Defense Academy. So I was like, oh, I won't get the admission, and finally I got the admission. On getting there, I was like, okay, no, I won't pass the interview, and I passed the interview. So when I passed the interview, I had to withdraw voluntarily from my university. So I left chemical engineering in 200 level and went to Nigerian Defense Academy. So getting to Nigerian Defense Academy, after spending like 2 months over there, I felt terribly sick, and many of my colleagues, or I say comrades in Nigerian Defense Academy, where some of them died, about 4 of them died. So there were a lot of casualties, and the commandants and the federal government of Nigeria were so alarmed by it. So they decided that anyone they found with malaria or typhoid or any form of sickness, that person must go before the person dies there in the Nigerian Defense Academy. So I was terribly sick then. I had acute malaria, so they just chased all about 31 of us out on October 16, 2016, out of Nigerian Defense Academy. That was like the turning point of my entire that was the worst times of my life. I thought about committing suicide, because then I've already left school, and now I've also been chased out of Nigerian Defense Academy. Where do I turn to? Where do I go? Where do I go from here? So on getting back home, I thought as if I was a failure. Like, I didn't have an idea of what I was going to do next. I didn't know what I was going to do next. My colleagues were advancing to 300 level, and look at me here, no NDA, no school. I was just sitting on the fence. It was terrible. But my mom's encouragement helped me to go back to school. And when I went back, they said, they only accept me on one condition, that I repeat 200 level. So I had to repeat a whole year again, and that's why that's why I'm still in school, because I'm supposed to have graduated like last year, but because of that setback, so it's a setback, yes, but it was a turning point because it helped me to focus on this part. Now I know that my calling is not to be a military person, okay, and also I'm supposed to be here. So on returning to school, I now founded RenewCycle. That's how I founded RenewCycle. So when I founded RenewCycle, with all the trauma and all the disappointments of that past, I had to take courage and strength from that, and then I put all my efforts in building this company. So that was how I was able to go through that challenge. That was how I was able to overcome even the barriers of knowledge in terms of not having prior business experience to start a business. So I was just passionate, I was just determined to study and to know how to go about it any which way. Because I've already experienced that failure in the past and I didn't want it to happen again. So I was trying to make sure that I overcome every form of shame or every form of regret. So when I go back to school, I started 200 level all over again. I started with my junior colleagues and I just blended in. Because I'm a very social person, I just blended in. I didn't take it as anything. I continued my courses, I continued attending my lectures, taking my exams, and moving forward. So I just focused on the positives, and that's how I've been able to come here. So from 2016, started the company in 2017, but incorporated in 2019, and in 2019 went to the IRENA forum, and now I'm here. So I think anyone can overcome any challenge. Yes, as long as you don't give up on yourself.
Yeah, I think this is the best part, and this is the best way to actually end this conversation. No,
I didn't actually want to miss that part, because if I say everything I've done, or don't look at my bio, don't look at my achievements or whatever, all those things are not really what define me. What I feel defines me is my ability to bounce back from failure, my ability to to rebound from maybe a crisis or a hard time. So that's what I feel defines me. Because if I cannot rebound from a crisis, if I cannot overcome a hard time, then I don't think my existence makes any sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and on that note, I'll definitely end this by just saying that all through this conversation, you've been able to tell me that you've been able to show that, or even share with us that, something can be really beautiful in your head. Your plans are beautiful to you. Like what you want to achieve is so beautiful to you, but at the same time can be extremely difficult. Yeah. So it then goes to show me that it just shows that, trials that you go through, there are tribulations that you go through, but just understand that something can be beautiful and at the same time difficult. All right, then. Thank you for having me and my teammates and the rest of the world, Chibunna. Enjoy your day, and I look forward to having the best with you and RenewCycle.
Thank you.
All right, then. Yeah, bye.
Bye.